No one's safe here tonight. We are happy to indulge you if you're looking for a fight, or just go home.
Will Warren backstage with Gabriel Kidd ahead of his title match with Aussie for the Defiant Championship. Now, Gabe, are you a little bit distracted with Prince Amin now joining the congregation?
Listen, you've asked me this before. Am I distracted? I've got a Defiant title match ahead of me. I'm not distracted. That is all I'm thinking about. That's all I'm focusing about. Do you know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take on one of the best professional wrestlers on this planet. I'm going to beat him for his championship. And I'm going to come back with my title and I'm going to find Amin and I'm going to find the old Amin. That's who I'm going to find. I'm doing this for him. I'm going to win this title and I'm doing this for Amin.
Gabriel Kidd, best of luck in your match tonight.
Thank you.
Tag team action coming up here on Defiant and IPW versus Defiant.
The following is a tag team match set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Coming to the ring at this time, representing IPW. This is the team of Mike Davis, Matt Fletcher, Aussie, Open.
Well, it was 2 weeks ago here on Defiant that Aussie Open, Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher managed to get an upset in a non-title match against the tag team champions Primate and Jimmy Havoc. If they can get another win here against two of Defiant's finest in Coffey and Gunn, then Aussie Open will have struck a very psychologically significant blow for IPW.
Well, BT Gunn, he's been out for around a month now in Defiant Wrestling. Both these men take full credit for it.
As you say, he's been out for a month at the hands of IPW, but he is back.
Introducing their opponent, first of all, BT Gunn! And his tag team partner, the Iron Man, Coffey!
So BT Gunn and Joe Coffey with a point to prove, but here come Aussie Open, trying to surprise these two members of the Defiant roster.
Well, as soon as Aussie Open came out, you felt the mood change in this building. It certainly did, where we're sitting. These men so dangerous. I do not trust IPW. I do not feel safe whenever they are around.
It's so unpredictable having IPW in control. They're in their second of 3 weeks in which Billy Wood and IPW are going to be in charge here. They've already made several matches designed to embarrass and humiliate Defiant. We saw that attempt to take away the women's title from Kaylee Ray earlier. We know that next week Jimmy Havoc and Primate are forced to compete against each other in a hardcore match before defending the tag titles.
That's unbelievable. It is Havoc around here. What's this, Kyle Fletcher?
And Fletcher got the airtime from Kyle Fletcher.
Well, we might not like them, Bradshaw, but these guys from IPW UK, they're incredible athletes. BT Gunn, he's been away for around a month. Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher and all of IPW they're taking credit for it.
I don't know if credit is the word, but they're certainly responsible for what happened to BT Gunn when IPW initially invaded us several weeks ago now. Covered by Davis, gets a 2 count. Coffey trying to fight back here against this big Australian.
Look at this. Look at this. Mark Davis wisely backed Joe Coffey into his own corner. Tags in Kyle Fletcher. The Iron Man right for the pickings.
And again, this is all part of a coordinated strategy to discredit Defiant Wrestling so that by the end of these 3 weeks in charge, there is nothing left. IPW looking to take out one of their big rivals on the British wrestling scene. They're doing it by trying to take those tag titles away next week, as I talked about. They're trying to keep the belt with the World Championship with Austin Aries in our main event coming up next as he defends against Gabriel Kidd in what apparently IPW think it's going to be basically a training session for Austin
Yeah,
Aries.
they feel it's going to be a cakewalk for Aries against Gabriel Kidd. I have to say I'm inclined to agree slightly. We'll see what happens. However, it seems like a bit of a mismatch in terms of experience anyway.
Yeah, when does that ever stop Gabriel Kidd?
That's a very good point.
We'll find out later on in just a little while, but imagine if things do go to plan here for IPW. They're already completely changing the course of Chain Reaction, which is just a couple of weeks away.
Billy Wood and IPW UK believe their whole beef with Defiant Wrestling is that they feel they called the shots in the UK scene. They've been here for years. And then all of a sudden Defiant Wrestling comes along, connects with the wrestling fans in Britain. Billy Wood, IPW don't like it.
Don't forget, speaking of Chain Reaction, that you can catch all of the action on February 18th from Manchester. If you haven't signed up yet, go to access.wearedefiant.com. You get a 30-day free trial. And as part of those 30 days, of course, you can see Chain Reaction in its entirety.
You could see the landscape of this entire company change forever.
Hang on a second now, Coffey. Look at the strength. Look at the strength of the Iron Man.
It's mind-blowing. BT Gunn absolutely aching for that big tag on the shelf for around a month.
Yeah, and don't think, by the way, that Gunn voluntarily was on the shelf. He would have been back the very next week given the option, but he was not medically cleared to be here. But he has been just brewing at home, just seething at what happened to him, looking for the chance to take revenge, and he's doing it here against Aussie Open.
BT Gunn has been one of Scotland's finest for well over a decade. Not many injuries in that time frame. IPW UK put him on the injured list. That's how dangerous these men are.
Oh! Gunn launches like a missile between the top and middle ropes. And speaking of a missile, there he is again. This time taking out Mark Davis. Now Gunn will go to the top rope.
Kyle Fletcher all alone.
Oh, Gunn! Cross body. Fletcher could be down. He gets a 2 count, but Fletcher got out. And Gunn has been visualizing this for weeks, thinking everything he wants to do to every single member of the IPW roster who was involved in that invasion, that ongoing invasion.
You imagine those phone conversations between Coffey and Gunn talking about what they would do when they were both fit and healthy.
He takes a run up, there's the avalanche. Gunn plants his knee firmly in the forehead of Fletcher. He probably left an imprint. Round and round with the giant swing. Face first to the mat goes Fletcher. That could do it, but Davis breaks it up.
Mark Davis from out of nowhere from behind. Coffey and Gunn didn't see the big Aussie coming.
Davis with that clubbing right hand across the back of Coffey and one in the face for good measure.
Dragging Kyle Fletcher into his corner. A smart play. Makes the tag. Kyle Fletcher not even aware of it. He's out for the count.
Right, but Davis, that was smart to bring himself into the match, seeing the condition of his partner. Davis has him piled up in the corner. Gunn with the assist from Coffey countered. Coffey takes down Davis. Or rather, Gunn does, excuse me. Here comes Coffey.
There we go.
The crossbody, great agility from the big man, and the 2 count, and Fletcher breaks it up.
Fletcher somehow with the wherewithal to break up that cover.
Billy Wood and the rest of the IPW roster must be back in the locker room not liking what they're seeing, or maybe they'll like this a bit more because here come Aussie Open. Davis, forearm, Fletcher's not done.
This is a double team though. Referee Joel Allen has to get one of these men out of the ring.
What a double team. May have knocked Coffey completely unconscious. The cover, and Gunn breaks it up again. Both of these teams having to save their own partners on numerous occasions here, with pinfalls looking certain otherwise.
BT Gunn so determined not to come out on the losing end. His big comeback match here on Defiant.
Chops for both members of Aussie Open from Gunn. His first match in a month. Again the double team.
The power of Davis.
Well, that time it backfired. Gunn got out. Fletcher sent to the outside.
There's the power of Coffey.
Leaping uppercut. Fletcher tried to fly in, but he got struck by the boot of Gunn. Coffey goes for the black coffee. And with the kick, and that is the Black Coffee. The cover. Coffey, can he win it? And yes, he does. A blow for Defiant over IPW.
BT Gunn and Joe Coffey!
Score 1 for Defiant.
Well, things might not have been going our way for much of the past 3 weeks, but they certainly did there. Joe Coffey and BT Gunn with a show of defiance on behalf of Defiant Wrestling. And if Defiant can do that again in just a moment when Gabriel Kidd takes on Austin Aries, then the Defiant Championship may be coming back home. The main event, Aries and Kidd, is next here on Defiant.
Manchester, February 18th and 19th. Defiant Wrestling returns to the Bowlers Exhibition Center. See Defiant Wrestling Champion, The Truth, Austin Aries. General Manager Stu Bennett, formerly known as Wade Barrett. Plus, the Women's Champion, Kaylee Ray. Leader of the Curb Crawlers, Martin Kirby. The Renegade, Mark Haskins. Liverpool's #1, Zach Gibson. The Iron Man, Joe Coffey. David Starr, Jurn Simmons, Primate, and Rampage. Suitable for all ages. Tickets from just £15 at wearedefiant.com.